This is Shmee150, aka Tim's Porche 914. Now, for those of you who don't know Tim, I'll leave a link in the description. He's got a YouTube channel, got loads of high-end cars, supercars, hypercars, blah, 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 all that stuff. Go check him out. So, in the previous episode of restoring the Porche 914, we continued on the fabrication on that back corner there, and we got it all complete. So now we can actually cut the bracing out of that sill, which is nice because it means it's one step closer to getting this car complete. Now, in this episode, we're going to tackle said hellhole. Now, my dad's been working on the hellhole in a previous episode, and we're going to continue the work on that and try and get this car, fabrication-wise, complete. But then we've got to build a rotisserie and turn it around and probably find more rust because there's probably rust on the floor pan. But one step closer. So, let's crack on. Right, so the hellhole is called a hellhole for a very good reason, because it holds water, holds moisture, rust from the inside, bada bing, bada boom, you've got a rust trap. Now, the issue is you can't actually get to the hellhole because it's inside the engine bay underneath the battery tray, and it's just so difficult to get in there. We have done a previous episode on that, but obviously we need to continue it in this episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut through this very nice rear quarter here and all these lovely signatures to try and gain access into that hellhole and into the bottom of this rear sill here as well. Now, in the previous episode, as mentioned, we have done work on this sill, but we just can't get in there, so we kind of shelved it a little bit while we got the rest of the car done. But now we're coming to the end of the fabrication. We're going to cut perpendicular to this arch here, and then cut across, and then cut down, so we can expose all of this hellhole situation that's going on here. And it's all multi-layered and all that stuff, so yeah, there's a lot of work in the hellhole, but we've got to start somewhere. So we're going to cut through here and then, yeah, expose more rust. And this really is the final piece to that puzzle of rust repair on the 914. Now, you can see here my uncle's starting to cut out the rear quarter, and that'll definitely give us good access to get into that hellhole. So we need to first start off by cleaning everything up so we can see exactly what we're dealing with. Now we move into the hellhole itself, and we take out this bad patch repair panel that someone decided to put in there. Right, this hellhole is proving to be quite the situation. Now, let's start with this section here. Now, this isn't original. This is a panel that someone's put on. Now, you should have a back section and a front, which is sandwiched together out of thick sheet steel, which actually forms this, and this is where your running gear is mounted. And this hasn't been done correctly. It's not in the right place, and that's probably why the wheel was rubbing on the inner arch. Now, all this needs taken out. The section that we took out earlier, that was also a refabricated panel, and it wasn't done correctly. We need to cut all of this out and repair all this. This section here, which is no longer existent, this comes right from over here, if you can see that, and it comes across and meets this section here. And there's actually rubber which goes on here, which obviously separates the road salt and water and everything from the engine bay. So it is quite the situation, but we're going to handle it the best we can. So my Uncle Richard's going to jump in here and continue what he's been doing on this inner section. I'm going to jump on the other side and start tackling it from that side, and hopefully we'll make some sort of sense of it. You can definitely see it's like we're building a 914 from the ground up. So as I mentioned, I'm going to jump on the outside and start cutting out all the bad patch repairs and start trying to rebuild that outer section. Now, as you can see here, it is actually double skin, so I've got to take that into consideration when I'm actually rebuilding it. Now you can see my dad's joined the crew. So this video is going to be an integration between me, my Uncle Richard and my dad. So we're all going to be working at the same time on different aspects of the car. Here you can see my dad cutting out the first panel, and this is for the rear suspension mounting point. Here you can see my dad using a paper template to trace around the original, which is still good, on that driver's side, the left hand side. Here we've started to make some sense of this hellhole on the bottom, so we used Dinatrol's RC900 to stop any more rust in its tracks. Now we start on the floor. Now in this corner there's actually an old repair which we need to take out, and it's not been done correctly. Now I need to add a bend into this panel to make it match the original. And while I'm doing that, my Uncle Richard's going to start making another panel for that hellhole. after offering the panel up and making sure it's the right size, we can then drill some holes ready to get it spot welded. Now I've made sure to make this panel bigger so my Uncle Richard can scribe on the inside of that panel and I can get it cut out. And while my uncle is still in the hellhole welding that top piece on, I can make the second piece for that sill. And now my dad's got the dimensions he needs, he can then bead roll that outer edge on that panel. Right, all three of us are literally going full ham on this car. Now, I've been working on this section here, so the floor and this rear sill. I've still got the jacking point to do. I've still got this section to do here, which is on the bottom of the hell hole, which is underneath here. And of course, I've got to get this outer sill on as well. We've also got this big hole here. We've cut this off to get access to all of this, so we can obviously weld that back on. And my dad's been working on the rear mounting bracket for the rear axle.
Right, so what we've got here is a rear mounting point for the rear cradle. Now we've made another one. It's a mirror image of this side, which is untouched. This is all original. And what we've got is, you can't see this, but the orientation of this follows this here, which should be somewhere around about here, but set back a little bit. But as you can, that's my watch. But as you can see, this here has been placed at totally the wrong angle. I mean, we've got 30 mil there, 30 mil at a wrong angle. But also, if we follow these lines down, we're also 30 millimeters too far that way with this hole. So this mounting point that they've welded in, that somebody's welded in and found acceptable, is absolutely 10 times in the wrong place. 10 times in the wrong place? In the wrong place, totally, it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this, we're going to drill a hole in here, and we're going to use this center hole as all his measurements from all his points around his car. We're going to weld this in place. We need another section that we've got to do here, and then we're going to use this as our template for rebuilding the back. This is about 1.8 mil steel, and the rear's the same. So them combined is going to make a slightly thicker mount point than his original, and in the right place.
Now we can cut out the old and start offering up the new. Now with that chassis rail being double skinned, I'm using a paper template to try and get some sort of size from it, and then I can transfer it onto some sheet steel. And here you can see me using a combination of a vise and an anvil to shape that panel. Right, I thought it was about time I did a bit of talking because we've literally been going full ham on this car. Now, my dad's been working on this sort of situation here. That's the old one. This is the new one that he's made. This is to actually mount the rear axle and stuff like that. So we've figured out that that's majorly in the wrong place. I think my dad said 10 times in the wrong place, which makes no sense. But anyway, so that's that. My Uncle Richard's been inside the hellhole doing the top of this sort of chassis rail here, and then I've been doing the bottom. So I've done all this inner. These welds, I've made sure to get quite a lot of heat into these welds, so obviously it makes it nice and strong. I don't need to grind these welds down because obviously, you know, to keep strength, it's never going to be seen. We'll make sure we protect it and everything. So now I'm working on the outer piece on this rear sill. So that includes these pieces and this one here that you've seen me make. So this goes on the outside, and obviously this is the jacking point, and then these are the strengtheners for the jacking point. So that's that. You'll see I've done this one in the previous episode as well on the other side, links in the description. So what I need to do is, you'll notice this is actually double skinned down here. So I need to make another one of these to slip inside there, and obviously I can weld them both together. And drill holes in this, weld them together, bada bing, bada boom. So I'm going to take the template that I've used to make this, and I'll just scribe this with my finger across here like I do normally, and then I can cut that down, make another piece of sheet steel, do exactly what I've done with this, and hopefully they should fit together, and yeah, try and get this bottom sill finally complete. So this is done. I think there's like 10 bajillion panels just in this area, but that's done, which is nice, and it's finally got some structure back into the car. Now this bracing we're going to leave in because this car's actually going to go on a rotisserie, so it can get all the underside done. So we're going to leave this bracing in to add a little bit more strength to it. So we're not going to cut that out for now. So that's all this done, and then we're going to show you inside the hellhole. Right, inside the hellhole, it's actually looking a little bit nicer now. My Uncle Richard and my dad have been working to try and get this back together. Now this section here, we've actually made loads of measurements to make sure that this is in the right place. Now I've only tacked it in for now because we want to get everything else done and then do a remeasure and make sure it's in the right place, because we don't want anything moving. This is obviously quite an important part of the geometry of the back axle. So with that being said, we've got all of this top section done as well. So this rail is now fully complete, just about. One thing that we do need to do is we need to continue this. There's like a little shelf that comes across here and meets this, and that's what this rubber attaches to. And the rubber basically stops any water, salt, etc. going into the engine bay. So it separates the underside of the car from the top of the car and the engine bay. So that's going to be it for this video. That's a major milestone on this car complete, because that hellhole was one hell of a hole and it was just an absolute abomination. But we're starting to make sense of this car, which is nice. So do check us out in the next video, where hopefully we're going to get this car on a rotisserie and get it upside down, so we're able to tackle all the rust and all the hidden gems that are underneath that underseal underneath. Yeah, that's always good. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one.